And you're going to smoke me.
Or pickleball.
It's already going to happen.
I'm kind of intrigued by pickleball.
I know nothing about pickleball.
It's the same as tennis, just a smaller court.
Okay.
And a really small racket.
Sounds like the kind of game I could relish.
Maybe.
It's a pickleball joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Actually, that went over my head at first.
Yeah.
Until you just said that. Yeah.
That's all right.
I was trying to play it off, but it didn't work out very well.
I'll tell you, I'll edit that out, but we're going to leave it. Hey guys, my name is Jeff McMahon, and I play the piano for people. I've played on some big records, played on some big stages, and I've played with some big stars. Big or small, they're all the same. Taking someone with a dream, playing their song, and trying to get them further up the ladder. So that's what we'll do here. Have a conversation, maybe shine a light, and play some music. And I'll be on piano. This is McMahon on keys. Yeah, I had actually written down 2023 was a writing year.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. I was like, is that because we dropped the ball? Is that because it was a plan? Was that what she had in mind for the year?
Yeah. I wanted to spend the whole year writing. I wanted to push myself writing and see what I could come up with.
We're recording, by the way.
Are we?
We've started.
I
Yes.
figured that.
Yep. Jonathan loves to go ahead and start things just in case he can catch us vulnerable saying something.
Love that.
So Dakota Danielle.
That's me.
Welcome to the table.
Thanks for having me.
You're actually the first person, I thought about this when I was driving over. You're actually the first person that's been on the podcast that I legitimately met on the road. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying you were opening. You were opening for us. I was playing with Chris Cagle, and you were the opening act in Indiana.
Lions, Indiana.
Okay.
I know, that was fun.
I actually thought that was more recently than it was. I was looking it up, and it's actually been a year and a half since we crossed paths for the first time.
Isn't that crazy? Time flies.
So how did you get that gig? Because when we met, I remember you saying something like, 2 days ago, this wasn't happening. I'm like, 2 days ago, they didn't have an opener for us. So how did you wind up doing that show?
So the promoter, I met the promoter for that with a previous gig. And he was like, hey, are you by chance available to open for this Lions, Indiana gig for Chris Cagle? And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to pass that up. So it ended up just working out, and I'm glad I did it because I met you.
True.
Right?
True. I'm a fan.
It was an interesting gig.
Now, when we did that gig, I had just started working for Chris 3 or 4 months before that, because Chris had been retired for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you are but a child, a mere child.
That makes me feel good.
Well, I'm just saying you're a little younger than I am. Did you know who Chris Cagle was?
Yes.
At that point?
Yeah. One of my favorite songs is The Chicks Dig It.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know a lot of that old 90s
Yeah, I grew up
country
listening
stuff?
to the 90s country.
Why?
I really like it. Why?
Mm-hmm.
That's what my parents listened to, my friends at the time, and I just overall enjoy that era of music.
Were you a fan? Were you a fan of music? You weren't playing music growing up, is what I understood.
Yeah.
So was it just you kind of casually listened to everything? You were a big fan of the music. You just hadn't thought about creating it yourself?
I listened to pretty much all kinds of music.
Okay.
And I was a, what do they call it, late bloomer when it comes to getting into the music career.
Right.
But I grew up listening to, I remember having the CDs of CCR, Creedence Clearwater, Aretha Franklin, Neil Diamond, Toby Keith, and then you go to Britney Spears, Aaron Carter. So it was like, that's a big variety right there.
Okay.
Of a little bit of everything.
Yeah, no. And then that's great. And I had a big variety too. Now, but I'm trying to remember, because I don't know exactly how old you are. Now, when I was getting all of that music as a kid, my dad was bringing it home from Dallas, which was an hour and a half away. Because I grew up in a small town. You grew up in a small town.
Yeah.
But I grew up, I graduated high school a year before MTV came out. Now, when you're getting all that music, how are you getting your music? Is it through the internet at that point?
No, I remember we would just get CDs from Walmart.
Okay. And you had a Walmart in your town?
No, we would go to the next town.
Okay.
But the next town was maybe 15 minutes away.
Okay.
So not too far.
So your folks were into all that different kind of music. They were bringing all that different stuff home. Mm-hmm. See, that's lucky. Mine was too,
Yeah, I like having a variety of different genres, and I enjoy it. And another one was Janis Joplin. My mom had that one on repeat. And Dolly Parton, yeah.
Well, now you say you were a late bloomer.
Yes.
Okay, so explain what that means, because I played piano from a very young age. I played music all through high school and college, but it never occurred to me to try to do it for a living until after I graduated college. It didn't even show up. So in that sense, I was a late bloomer, but I was still playing music really young. I was a musician. Now, what does a late bloomer mean for you?
Well, I was similar to you. I didn't know till college time that I could have a career in the music. But I also didn't start playing music till like senior year of high school. I had piano lessons when I was younger, like 7, but no offense, I could not play the piano and I just wasn't for me.
Well, it takes, there's an extra level of skill that's involved in piano than every other instrument.
I believe that.
Jonathan's laughing, playing fiddle in the background. So, yeah, good.
So I had piano lessons, and then I got really big. Everybody in my family plays tennis, so I got really big into playing tennis. Grade school, summers, junior high, high school, and I burnt myself out because I played so much, and I wanted to find something different. Mm-hmm. And I found my mom's old guitar in the closet upstairs. And I was like, you know what? I'm definitely the type of person who randomly comes up with these ideas and runs with it. So I was like, I'm going to learn how to play the guitar. And I ended up falling in love with it. And that's kind of where it started. And that was senior year of high school. My parents actually didn't support me at first, because they thought I was going to quit it like I did piano.
Sure.
And then I'm stubborn. So I was like, I'm going to learn this. And I did, and I fell in love with it. And then they supported me once they saw how much I enjoyed it.
Okay, so I want to ask about this tennis thing. Okay, Jonathan, would look on that table in there. No. I think there are 3. I played tennis in high school as well.
Did?
I did play tennis in high school as well.
Why have we not played tennis?
Because I didn't know you played tennis. That had not been a part of the conversation. So the first question for you is, can you juggle?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been a while, but we'll see if we can do this.
Because I don't even know if the camera is going to get this, so you might have to grab your phone.
This was like normally a tennis exercise.
Okay, right? So let's.
Are you testing my juggling skills?
I'm testing your juggling skills. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I have to scoot back for this.
Okay. Okay. See that? Because I have told people, they're like, "Why did you learn how to juggle?" And I would say, because when you play on the tennis team in high school, you play one match and you watch 7, and you have tennis balls in your pockets, and it's just kind of one of those things that happens. So points for you.
Yay!
Now, okay, so I know that you say you play tennis a lot.
Yeah.
But I want you to expand on that a little bit because you can find matches that you played on the website for the United States Tennis Association.
I didn't know this.
Yeah. Not a lot.
I
don't know what it means. You won some of them, you lost some of them.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that means, but it means you're not just talking about playing for your high school team. You did,
no, I did
something
what
more
was
than
called
that.
USTA.
Okay.
And with high school, I went to state a couple years.
Right.
Yeah, it's so I did a lot of USTA is kind of just where it's like a league outside of the schools and you travel a lot and play. So I did that, and that's honestly what burnt me out because that was all summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is that a feeder for like people that do scholarships, people that go pro?
Yeah.
People? Okay, so that's...
Because I remember I did want to go, I thought about playing tennis in college.
Right.
And trying to do that, but I just burnt myself out.
And did you do singles or doubles? Because I felt like I saw both.
I did both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mixed?
Yep.
Okay.
USTA I did mixed too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's what I all I knew was, oh, this is serious. This is real.
Yeah.
So
She means when she played tennis. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny because I understand that you'd quit piano, but you had been deliberate, you had been intentional, you had learned things, you had stuck with other things. So I guess the guitar thing is like, well, yeah, the music thing she hasn't really done.
No.
So at that time, and I can screw my timelines up, but when I saw that, I thought of you, and I also thought of Naomi Osaka, the tennis player, because she right then, I'm assuming you were paying attention to her because that was her first U.S. Open win. Was 2018.
I'm gonna just trust you on that.
I think it's about right. And the reason I thought of it was because once I was in the tennis space, once I was thinking about that, it made me think of you just because she is so assertive about her career. But when you talk to her, she's very reserved. She's very kind of chill, laid back, which is how you are. To me, I mean, I think, when you're just like, oh yeah, I played tennis and yeah, I did some songs and then some, it's like, no, you did stuff. So
yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
So how long did you play tennis then?
I just played in high school.
In high school?
Yeah.
Were you varsity? Number one?
I was varsity. I was my first year. I was number 2 doubles.
Nice.
My second year, I was number 2 singles.
That's good.
So
freshman year varsity. That's impressive.
Yeah. No, I was junior and senior year.
Junior and senior year.
Yeah.
Still there.
Yeah. I was on the track team before that.
Oh.
And
you like to run? I hate running.
Well, I grew up with asthma. And I started running with my dad as a way to combat that.
That makes sense.
But and I'm good at persistence. But I could actually impact the team playing tennis. I could help them. I could win some stuff. I could grind it out as a runner, but I wasn't helping anybody win anything. So when I stumbled into that, my folks had taught me how to play. My dad had taught me how to play.
That's cool. Tennis is a sport that you can always play.
Right.
Whether you have sometimes those courts have the wall. You can go out, play by yourself, or it's just a sport that it's kind of like pickleball is really big right now.
Yeah. So, musically, I make a lot of references when I'm talking about the music thing and I'm working with people that I might be trying to help get better, raise the bar, do some other things. I I speak a lot to the team aspect of when I played baseball, or certain aspects of long-term planning when I was doing marathoning. Now, I can't say that I've ever referenced tennis in the context of the music space, but what part of your tennis background do you think has served you well or taught you things that you apply musically with what you're doing?
That's a good question.
Well, because I know that, like, when I'm playing baseball, I played baseball and I played right field, which is kind of a, not the coolest position to play in baseball. But as a keyboard player, it always kind of connected to me because it was like, no, I'm not the lead guitar player. I'm not the lead singer. But when I need to be there, that one time in the game when the ball makes it out to right field, that one time on stage when I've got a really important moment, it's going to matter. It's going to be important then.
That's a really...
So that would be one of the things that I would think of from playing baseball, and obviously the team part of navigating a band and all of that.
Yeah.
But I wonder what part of the time you spent playing tennis.
I feel like a lot.
Is it and I never did this as a tennis player, but you probably know grips and all the things. Is there some muscle memory to changing chords or? Yeah,
muscle memory to changing chords, and even just like the footwork provided for tennis, and you always have to be like ready and on point, even right after you hit the ball. That has taught me to, always kind of be prepared for the unexpected.
Right.
And strategy is an important thing.
Okay. How would that be?
Like, especially in like doubles or singles, like you have to plan ahead before you even hit the ball. Like I'm going to hit the ball in the left corner, knowing that that person has to run far to the left corner. And when you have to expect or kind of assume where she's going to hit it back, and already plan that I'm going to hit it in the other corner because she has to run to the other side of the court and she might not be able to get it, making me win the point. So you have to pretty much in your head plan out the whole entire point of how you think you want it to go. And I feel like that has helped me visualize my career and strategize how I want things to look and how to get there.
Well, or even...
If that makes sense.
No, it does.
I'm
thinking of it, it makes me think of, we're going to play these two songs first because I don't need a capo for either one of them.
That's and how
the
I think of things.
Song, I don't have to play at the end, so I can take my guitar off to get ready for the third song while he's taking the lead, because they won't be watching me because he'll be playing lead over in the left-hand corner.
Yep.
Right?
That's exactly how I build my sets and look at things. It's like, okay, I got a capo here. Guitarist will start this riff while I put my guitar down. I'll walk around stage with just a wireless mic. After this song, grab my guitar, playing guitar here, pause here, and it helped planning it all out step by step.
Or even, now I'm going down a rabbit hole because I'm thinking of all this tennis stuff that I never thought of.
I never thought of it this way either, but I'm like, oh, this is making sense.
But when you talk about like having to reset after your return and, and shake off the fact that you just mishit or you just hit a let, whatever. And I'm thinking the same thing of, you hit a wrong chord, but you're not done with the song. Yeah. So you got to correct, jump in. Yeah.
Keep going.
See there? Look at all that tennis stuff.
Yeah. Like, wow.
Carrying forward.
I know. Maybe I should get back into that.
That's good. That's good. Well, that's why I'd never knew if you wanted to play, because
we're going to have to play tennis.
Okay. And you're going to smoke me.
Or pickleball.
It's already going to happen.
I'm kind of intrigued by pickleball.
I know nothing about pickleball.
It's the same as tennis, just a smaller court.
Okay.
and a really small racket.
Sounds like the kind of game I could relish.
Maybe.
It's a pickleball joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Actually, that went over my head at first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Until you just said that. Yeah.
That's all right.
I was trying to play it off, but it didn't work out very well.
I'll tell you, I'll edit that out, but we're going to leave it. Okay. So there's the tennis part. So you're playing music. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't even think, I got hired in a band after I graduated. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, I could do this with a career. Now you shifted gears during college. Yeah. You actually did some music study. You didn't start, but you finished with some kind of music degree.
Yes. I originally was just playing my guitar as a hobby. Went to college. I knew I wanted to do something creative, so I was going to go into marketing and advertising. Mm-hmm. I got a job at the newspaper, daily newspaper on campus, and my boss at the time two of my bosses were really big in music, and one wrote poems. And they found out that I played guitar and, sang and wrote for fun at that time.
Right.
And he's like, hey, I have this poem. Would you put music to it? And I was like, sure, I'll give it a shot. And I recorded it, showed it to him, and he's like, wow, okay. And he showed it to my other boss. And I don't know, that boss, his name's Jerry. We still are in contact today. He saw potential in me, I guess, and he kind of took me under his wing and showed me how to properly care for my guitar, gave me my first experience recording.
Right.
And got me started with my first singing lessons. And that's when I kind of realized doing that more, I also found out that the college had, a music business program, and the music business program took trips to Nashville, and that's when I found out about Middle Tennessee State.
So this was the first,
this was the first college.
First school you're going to.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
And the year I was supposed to graduate from that college was when I decided to transfer to MTSU.
Okay.
Because the music business program at SIUC, Southern Illinois University, Carbondale, their music business program was strictly music classes. So I did all of the theory, all of the ear training. I cried every day and went to the tutor every day.
Cried every day because...
Yeah, because I had no background in that stuff. So I was like the black sheep.
Right.
And it was very difficult for me. But I passed.
Okay.
And I learned a lot. And the business side was separate. The business was just kind of like business. It wasn't music business, if that makes sense. So I found out MTSU had a songwriting program, and that was one thing that I hadn't learned. And I was like, you know what? I'm supposed to graduate this year, but why not? I want to learn about songwriting. So I went to MTSU. Only had to go an extra year. All of my credits transferred in as a minor. It was great.
Oh, wow.
And
lucky.
Yeah. 5-year college student. Not too bad.
I was a 5-year college student. I was 5.5 years, and I didn't even transfer.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
So so you had the forethought to do, now you did music business. Mm-hmm. So how much performance stuff did you do as a part of your degree?
A lot, because the music classes that were required there, I had to take, you had to focus on an instrument. So I started out on classical guitar.
Okay.
And then I wanted to get more into voice. So I did 2 semesters of classical guitar and then 2 semesters of voice, which was where I learned about classical singing. That was way out of my element.
Okay.
But I choir singing and stuff, that was all new to me.
Different languages.
Yeah.
Opera stuff.
Mm-hmm.
All that kind of stuff.
Me learning how to do all of that. It was a difficult time because I was totally new to everything like that. But I would not take back those learning experiences.
Okay.
Yeah. I feel like it really did help me grow a lot.
Well, any of those experiences, I mean, I was in barbershop quartets in college, but it taught me how to find parts.
Harmony lines.
Yeah. I mean, I did lots of stuff that resurfaced later in different ways or in ways we don't even think about, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I have no doubt that the time you spent working in advertising, you have applied to promoting some of your shows or,
marketing. Yeah.
you know, all of that stuff. So, okay. So you said something and I want to ask you about it, but before we do, I want to play this piece about Instruments for Education. I asked you before we started if you knew Troy Castellano, who I've done a bunch of work with. He has a nonprofit, Instruments for Education. He gathers up instruments, new and used. He'll repair them, get them into schools or individuals, kids that don't have money to get instruments, so he can pass the music on, donate them to classes,
That's awesome.
Keep all that rolling. So we're going to play a piece about Instruments for Education, and then I want to ask you about being the black sheep.
Okay.
So, Instruments for Education.
Yay.
Hey, Troy Castellano here from Instruments for Education. We're at one of our first stops here today on a Friday. We're delivering some tambourines and some shakers for an elementary school classroom. We're at Liberty Elementary School. Hey guys, I'm Troy Castellano. We started Instruments for Education as a way to put instruments into the hands of kids. Sometimes we donate directly to students, sometimes to teachers, and sometimes to full classrooms in their schools. We're based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and we service the Middle Tennessee area. Since we started, we've reached over 100 schools and donated over 500 instruments. If you'd like to make a request for an instrument, or you have an instrument to donate, or would like to contribute financially, visit our website at instrumentsforeducation.org. Thanks for supporting us, and thanks for helping keep music alive.
Okay, so I told you I wanted to ask you about the black sheep, and I may be completely off base here. I don't know. When I was in high school, I was very busy, but I was very busy with specific activities. Played the piano in the stage band, played tennis on the tennis team, was in the shows. But when it came to like hanging with my buddies, there wasn't a lot of that. It was all very kind of driven by the activities I was involved in. And musically, I didn't feel, there wasn't a lot of people that connected to what I was doing. Now, you were talking about the black sheep, and I definitely want to talk about some of your songs. But I wanted to ask you about this one thing, because I was listening to Forever, this song that I know it's an older song, but I'm wondering where this experience comes from. If it's your experience, there's a line in there that says walking by herself in the hallway. Take it from someone who's been 15. Now you're saying this when you're barely in your 20s, I think. I don't know exactly when you're, but it sounds like you're talking to somebody in high school. Take it from someone who's been 15. In the blink of an eye, you'll be 25. Sounds like you were the black sheep in high school.
Yes. Yeah.
So
I wouldn't say I was a black sheep, but I have had experiences where, I mean, in high school, girls can be just very mean.
Mean Girls is a movie for a reason.
Mean Girls is a movie for a reason.
Yeah.
They can, there can be unnecessary drama where, you know, your whole friend group might be mad at you for a week and you are walking down the hallways by yourself because all of your friends are just, you know, there's drama.
Right.
And they're picking sides and yada, yada. So I have had experience in that stuff where you just have a lot of drama in your friend group and you don't know how long someone's going to stay mad at you, and it can feel lonely. And
And maybe you don't even know why they're mad at you.
Yeah, you might not even know why, or it's all the little high school stuff that is common, I feel like, with a lot of people.
Right.
That age.
And now it doesn't end at 3:30 because we can keep it going with our cell phones and socials and all the stuff 24/7.
Yep.
So is that was that song written with a mission?
That song, I wrote it with one of my good friends, Jessie Lynn Kidd, and we both resonated with it a lot. And I got the idea from that song, ironically, driving back home to Nashville from Louisiana. And it was me kind of just reflecting on how friendships, as you get older, how you kind of realize they change, people grow up, the drama can be different, and how if I would have known, like when I was in high school, that this one fight with my friend would end up being like fine and whatever, and you're still friends years later, I probably wouldn't have worried about it as much in the moment. But it's all a learning process when you're that age. You're there to like learn and figure out who you are.
Well, and sometimes they don't change.
And sometimes
people don't.
And that's usually when you do not continue being friends with them.
I actually started wondering if there was a target for the song. Because I know you've got a big family. I think you've got a bunch of nieces and stuff.
Yeah.
So I was like, did, Aunt Dakota have to come to the rescue for something?
Yeah. No, I have had, when that song released, some of my little cousins, I remember, have hinted around with some things, but never fully on, like, told me stories. But when I released that song, I have had people reach out to me saying like their daughters really love that song, resonate with it, and it's helped them, and that means a lot. It's been I like the fact that song can resonate with a younger audience. So
have you, with that song and the mission and the meaning behind the song, have you just found people kind of finding it, or have you tried to, like, here it is? I mean, have you tried to say, hey, here's this song, learn this with your nieces or crowds or whatever?
When I released that song, I was not able to fully promote it the way I wanted to.
Right.
The only way that I promoted that song was I decided to do like 45-minute assemblies for junior high kids and high school kids. The highest I went was like freshmen.
Yeah.
Because that was new to me, to put on an assembly and be a public speaker.
Right.
The easiest part of that whole 45 minutes was the 3 minutes and 20 seconds of my song singing it.
Sure. I understand.
So it was a learning curve for me. Yeah. But it was really, I loved it. I would hands down do something like that again. It was, kids are brutally honest.
Right.
But after my assemblies, they would reach out to me on Facebook and ask me questions about, what goals they have. And, also some of them mentioned that they would open up to me and say that, they are getting bullied, and, like, thank you for, your talk today. It really helped me. It inspired me. And that just meant a lot, that little me can, like, help someone like that. It kind of just filled my heart.
Right.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because, you were talking about how you would find out that some of your friends would actually still be your friends and all of that. And my first thought was, yeah, isn't it funny how being on a billboard can make some of that happen? Right?
Yeah.
Now, because I I've played on some songs that people know, and I've done some things. I've never been on a billboard. You have been on a billboard.
I have.
So your friends can go, oh, she was my best friend in high school.
Yes.
Talk about being on a billboard.
It was really, I didn't even know I was on the billboard, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going into my hometown boutique there. It's called the Thomas Shop.
Okay.
And they're like, yeah, we saw you on the billboard going to Altamont, Illinois for like the fair. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. So I specifically took a trip after I bought my clothes. I forget what I bought. I think I bought a dress or something.
To find the billboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I drove like, I think it was 45 minutes. And I was specifically looking for the billboard, found it, pulled over, and I was like, I got to take a picture. And it was really cool.
And this was Jansen.
For the Chris Jansen gig. Yeah, I was opening for Chris, and it was the billboard was right there by the fair where everything was happening. And it was a cool feeling. Yeah, I was excited.
And you should have been.
Yeah.
That's fine. Well, I'm sure you were part of the reason people were going to the show.
I hope so.
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Yeah. Well, okay. So I don't think you have a booking agent.
No, it's just me, myself, and I.
Right. So most of the folks that I've been working with, or the people that have been on this podcast, are people that are trying to find their way, trying to make their way. So somebody's listening to this conversation. They're completely independent. They don't have booking agents. How do you wind up opening up for Chris Jansen?
That is a good question. No, I'm just kidding. It's just all about networking is what I can really say. I am very in my community, in my hometown. I have met a lot of good people, and I've met promoters at random place. One promoter I met playing at a pumpkin patch in Paris, Illinois, and you just never know who's going to be there at your show.
Right.
Which has taught me to always be, even though you're tired, your voice isn't good, you need to be able to at least put on, 85%
right.
of your show.
Sure.
And a lot of it is just, I wake up in the mornings and I'll have my cup of coffee. I'll write in my little journal, and I'll spend an hour emailing. I have this thing where I will look at an artist above me that I think I am similar to, and I will look at their tour schedule, find out the venues, reach out to those venues, and sometimes if they're playing where they need an opening act, I will reach out, and I just make sure that I have my email prepared to where my electronic press kit is on there. Everything that they need to know about me as an artist is one click away.
Right. And
it's kind of just fell into place from there. A lot of no's, but there's been some yeses.
Yeah. Well, and you're going to get the no's. You're going to get the no's. That's one of the things that I've got a young lady that I work with, and, her favorite artist is, Carrie Underwood. Mm-hmm. And, but another favorite artist might be Lainey Wilson. And it's like, okay, well, remember this. Carrie Underwood has 10 million followers on her Facebook page. Lainey Wilson might have 2 million. Mm-hmm. That means there's another 8 million people that have not yet found Lainey Wilson.
Yeah.
10 people, 2 of them like Lainey Wilson. There's still work to be done, I mean, there's always a new fan, always a place you haven't played, always somewhere to go. Now, I know that I know you have some fans. So we're gonna hear from one of your fans.
Okay.
And I think they have a question for you, but I don't know what the question is. So I'm assuming you know what this is about, because I didn't understand. Okay. So we're gonna let you feel this, and then you can tell me what this means.
Okay.
So just click play on that.
Hey Dakota, Sheridan here. Jeff was kind enough to reach out to me when he told me that you were going to be on his podcast, and just wanted to give you a major shout out. I have admired and respected the hell out of you for so many years now, but in particular getting to work more closely with you last year, I've seen such an incredible growth in you, and I so admire the way that you have gone after your career and put together these incredible tours and opportunities for yourself. It's so clear that you are so authentically yourself, and every decision you make comes from a beautiful heart center. And I can tell, your fans can tell, all your friends can tell, your family can tell. And I just really am so proud of you and how far that you've come. And I wanted to just put this little question out there in case you haven't already talked about it in this interview, but I would love to hear about maybe some side projects that you're working on that are kind of working parallel to your brand and your music. Because I know that we talked about some of these things a while back, but I would love to hear some of these side projects and what they mean to you and kind of the difference in the world that you're trying to make with those projects. Anyway, I hope to see you soon. So proud of you. Bye.
Aww.
So do you know what she's talking about?
Yes, I do know what she's talking about.
Okay, so Sheridan was on the podcast.
I love her so much.
A few weeks ago.
She's so talented.
A good friend, an accidental common thread between you and I.
Yeah.
What is she talking about? What are you doing?
So when we were working together, she was kind of just helping me in a life career aspect for a little bit.
Is this with her New Roots program? Because she's got that music mentoring.
It was outside of New Roots
program. Okay.
But I did help her out with New Roots while that was kind of going. I would show up and do a round or something. But with this, I have always wanted to write a children's book. And I had this idea to relate it to my music career. Mm-hmm. Some of my songs, like all of my songs, actually, my plan was to, a song is technically a 3-minute story. Mm-hmm. The lyrics rhyme just like, kids' books do. So I was planning on side project that I keep putting off, is to do a children's book based off of my songs, the lyrics in my song. And on the back of the book would be a QR code where kids could scan the QR code. I could read the book to them because I remember when I was a kid and you would pop in the little tape and it would read the book to you if you technically couldn't read very well. So my idea was on the back of my books related to my song, the QR code would have me reading them the book, and also it would take them to my song to play. And that's just a project that is definitely to the side. But eventually one day I do want to do that a lot because I think my songs would be a good children's book, especially like One Day Closer to You, Forever even, Growing Old. A lot of my therapy songs is what I call them. I feel like would be a good kids book to give them a different view on some life lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So well, now you've said it over a microphone.
I know.
Now you have to make it happen.
Sheridan knew what she was doing.
That's funny. No, you should do that. You should do that.
Yep.
Well, it makes me think of another question now that I'm not even going to ask you everything that I was thinking about wanting to ask you. I'll hit a few more things, but one of the things that we do here is to take one of your songs, put it together as a performance so we can share it. Mm-hmm. I get to play on them, which is awesome for me.
I love it too.
So we're going to share the performance that we did of one of your songs. And then when we come back, I want you to explain why we did that song.
Okay.
And what it means. So this is Dakota Danielle.
I'm just a girl with nobody to blame, dealing with life, running from pain, trying to find my way. 'Cause home doesn't feel like home with you gone, and time won't let me stop moving on. It's hard to keep from hiding from the rain, 'cause every second that goes by, every minute that I miss you, every morning sunrise reminds me of all I've been through. But right now I'm just enjoying the view. One day closer to you. I'm all alone with these tears I've cried, yelling out loud, trying to figure out the reasons why. Home doesn't feel like home with you gone, and now I'm used to being up at dawn. It doesn't get any better with time, 'cause every second that goes by, every minute that I miss you, every morning sunrise reminds me of all I've been through. But right now I'm just enjoying the view. One day closer to you. I'm lost, hurt, and confused. I don't know how to be me without you. 'Cause every second that goes by, every minute that I miss you, every morning sunrise reminds me of all I've been through. But right now I'm just enjoying the view. One day closer to you. I'm just one day closer to you.
So that's Dakota Danielle. Tell us what we just heard.
That is a therapy song.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is a song that I wrote based off of my journals. I lost my mom to a heart attack in 2018. I was 25.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you how old I am now.
That's okay. None of us can do math. We're musicians. It doesn't matter. It's okay.
Maybe I still look 25. No. So she passed away from a heart attack, and I was the only one here. It was like me and my two other cousins. Mm-hmm. And when she passed, I ended up going back to Illinois to take care of my dad at the time.
Right.
And I didn't have time to process my mom's death because I went straight into being a caretaker for my father. who had stage 4 lung cancer.
Gosh.
And so what I did, because I couldn't process her death because I had to go into caretaking mode, didn't want Dad to,
Right.
see me struggling. So I would write in my journal kind of how I felt about my mom's passing. And I was able to take one trip to Nashville where my uncle, might have been my uncle and my cousin, they were like, hey, like, go to Nashville this weekend. We'll take care of your dad. And I was like, okay. So I went to Nashville and I texted Jessie Lynn Kidd, who I was riding with like once a week for a long time. We got together and I was like, okay, like I have to write this song. I know that I want it to be called One Day Closer to You.
Right.
Because this is the only way that I am like moving right now, is to look at it in this perspective. And I gave her my journal. And I was like, this is what I want to say. I just need you to help me like piece this together.
Right.
So we wrote it super fast. And it was a beautiful moment. We cried, we hugged, we laughed even. Like it was a beautiful bonding moment for me and her, but it also was a great healing part of my life as well. And that song, I knew I wanted to release it because of how much it helped me writing it and also just listening to it, singing the words. I released that, if I remember right, I released that on my mom's birthday. I have a thing where the therapy songs that I release are on the significant days.
Okay.
So that was, I remember, kind of like I think a birthday present for her.
Wow.
If I remember right. Yeah.
Well, thanks for letting me do that. Man, I had no idea it was quite that. I mean, I knew pieces.
Dropping a major
I knew pieces.
sad bomb on you right there.
No. It's not about it being a sad bomb. It's about it being a meaningful bomb. I just appreciate your wanting to do that together.
Yeah,
so
of course.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
So
It's a special one. I like that one.
Do you still perform it?
It took me a while to be able to perform it live.
Yeah.
The first couple of times I couldn't make it through the song. And then, especially because a lot of my mom's friends would be in the crowd and I would catch eye contact.
Yeah.
And oh God, it was over with.
Yeah.
But as time went on, I was able to flip a switch without completely flipping a switch, if that makes sense. Like,
sure.
And it got easier.
Yeah.
So, but right now, I don't really perform those songs out unless it's the right setting.
Right.
Like a listening setting where I can tell my story.
Right.
So
Which I would think is kind of mixed. It's a listening environment so you can tell your story, but then there's the extra burden of, oh my gosh, they're really listening.
yeah.
It's easier to kind of plow through it when bar glasses are chinging and all that. So, but yeah, it's certainly something that you want to connect with.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
well, I appreciate you letting me do that with you.
I'm glad you asked me to.
No,
And,
of course.
It was a lot of fun. You sounded I want to do a full-on piano take of it.
Well, I know a guy. No, we've done it.
I know. I'm excited too because I don't have what we just did, the acoustic thing with that song.
Yeah.
So.
And now we do. So one of the things that Sheridan talked about was you being authentic. And I mean, having gotten to know you and, over coffee, grabbing breakfast, following up after we met, I mean, I certainly know that. And the fact that some of the mutual friends we have, it's like, wow, she must really be awesome because these people are awesome. And I already knew that. So authenticity, I have something else I want to ask you about.
Okay.
So you have a good friend that you seem to both very much champion each other. Tell me what this is. Hit play.
Is this where you took this picture?
Hit play on that. Now that is authentic Dakota Danielle.
Do I need to turn on and show this to the camera? Oh my goodness.
So
we wore those for Halloween this year too.
Yeah, well, okay. Now the thing is, it was Halloween. Now, I know this is not limited to Halloween.
No. It's not. It's definitely not.
What are we seeing and who is that?
That is one of my best friends, and I honestly call her a sister now, Leah Crows. And we lived together. We went on a tour, a month-long tour together. We really do, like you said, champion each other.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer of you grow with people. And if you have a good group with you, like you all rise together. I think that's just how it should work.
Mm-hmm.
So with the outfits, the Bucky outfits, those were actually a gift from a friend. And
for people that don't know, the majesty of Buc-ee's, it's a landmark truck stop. It's the biggest truck stop in the history of truck stops. I'm sure Jonathan is over there grinning because he loves our bus stops at Buc-ee's.
And they have one in Crossville now. It's great.
So that's what those outfits are. They're Buc-ee's Beaver outfits.
Yes, they are. And we wore them that night because the friend that got them for us, that was his round. And we're like, we're going to just surprise him, wear these outfits, and just try to completely embarrass him. And it was funny. It was good. Yeah. But
you put that outfit on to embarrass somebody else. Yeah.
I did. What does that say about my personality?
It says you're very secure in your black sheepishness.
Yes.
No, that's awesome. I heard her say that, and I remembered, you know what I think I have in my office. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. We have a good time together, that's for sure. We write, and so she plays acoustic guitar for me. Yeah.
No, I see y'all together a lot, and I mean, and that's kind of how this started, was me kind of trying to take my people and figure out how we can make something more. And it's together,
fun that way because you're doing it with friends, and it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah. And you got somebody to share the stories with.
Yeah.
That were there, that know what's going on. So.
And we'll remember it with you.
You said before we started that you had some kind of question for me or something. What was that?
Because when we were practicing the song beforehand, I want you to tell me, I really enjoyed hearing the story about your first furniture piece.
My first furniture piece, my piano?
Yeah. I liked that story.
I don't know.
If you want to share it.
I don't know. Well, I'm not exactly sure what the story was. I know.
It was like also how, it was like your first related to Tim McGraw.
Okay. Well, okay. So I think the only story that would have been was, and actually this happened around Christmas time, if I remember. I was working for Tim. I started working with him with no hits. Then we had a hit. Then we had a few hits. Then it was like, okay, this is going to go for a little while because you never really know how long that's going to last. And you don't know if you're going to be there for the whole time. You don't know how long you're going to be there because bands change and all the things. So I wound up buying a house, signing a mortgage. And because I'd been steady and was making enough money that I could think about it. That was way before Nashville blew up like it has now. But I didn't have any furniture. And the first thing I bought was a piano. Was a baby grand piano. I didn't have furniture in the room. Well, I appreciate it.
It sounds beautiful.
Thank you.
Don't know how you got it in the room, but.
And I thought, well, I'm not home that much at the time. We were working nonstop for the next 4 years. So I don't really need a sofa. I don't need chairs. I don't need a dining room suite because I'm not having dinner parties and I'm not home. Let's go ahead and start making payments on a piano. So that was the only piece of furniture I had was that piano. And then I don't know if this was part of the story, but we are rolling into Christmas time. It reminds me that I did have a Christmas tree. So there was the piano and there was a Christmas tree, but the Christmas tree stayed up until July because it was the only light source in the room.
The only light.
I didn't have lamps. I didn't have ceiling fixtures. I didn't have lamps. So I left my Christmas tree up because it was the only light source for the downstairs.
I feel like this is a true musician story.
So I could play piano and feel especially burdened to play Christmas carols in June. So, and
Christmas in July.
Christmas in July. And I know we're winding this up, but we need to talk about your Christmas song because people are putting together their Christmas lists right now, their playlists and all the things. So we need to shine a light on Dakota
we need to do
Danielle
a recording of that
at
too.
Christmas. Yes. We can do that.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
So where did the Christmas song come from? I don't want to neglect that. Christmas time. People, your Christmas music, it's ready to go.
Yay. It's called Fallen in Love with Christmas.
Yeah.
And I wrote it with Randy Driscoll.
Okay.
And I actually have not ever really been a Christmas music person. And I was like, how about, I wanted to write about it. I wanted to write about how someone could not be a full-on Christmas mode person. But what happens if they fall in love with someone during Christmas time, making them fall in love with the holiday?
Right.
And I was like, that's just me and my hopeless romantic thought process.
Sure.
So we wrote it, and I was like, I really love this song. And I was like, I need to release a Christmas song. And that's how it came to be. And it was about that. It was about kind of like a Christmas Scrooge who ended up falling in love with someone same time as Christmas was going on. And I thought that was a cool little twist and view on a Christmas song.
And I love the song.
Thank you.
I'm glad you unscrooged yourself. You have to be careful when you say that. I'm glad
there's piano on it.
I'll hook you up.
I
will hook you up.
Okay.
Dakota, thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much for having me.
This was fun.
Yay.
Thanks for letting me play on your song.
Thank you for playing on my song.
Of course. We'll play it. Have a Merry Christmas.
You too.
Dakota Danielle. Let everybody know how to find you. Find your music, find your stuff.
You can find me at dakotadanielle.com, Facebook, Instagram at Dakota Danielle Music. And I am on YouTube, Twitter, TikTok. I'm trying to think of all the things. Just at Dakota Danielle Music.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
And there you have it. That's our interview with Dakota Danielle. Dakota, thanks for carving out the time to spend the afternoon with us. And everybody, check out One Day Closer to You, Certainly Fallen in Love with Christmas, and all the rest of her music online. We're getting ready to call it season 1 for McMahon on Keys. And we have already started filming, doing interviews for season 2, which we will kick off after the first of the year. For the next few weeks, we will be reminding you of some of the folks that have lent their talents to these first episodes. And I have to say thank you so much to all the guests that took the chance on us as we got this adventure started. and for all of you that have been listening and sharing these episodes with your friends. I appreciate it. Thank you so much to Tommy Leland for recording and mixing all of our music for us. Jonathan Warren for helping us capture the music and do interviews. Randy Allen for all the work putting together the videos for all the episodes. Turk McNamara for leaving the door open at Turk's Lounge and helping us keep Nashville how it used to be. And for all of you that are hanging in there with us and getting ready for season 2. If you've got thoughts on the episodes and suggestions, just email us at jeff@mcmahononkeys.com. And until next time, this is McMahon on Keys.